Welcome. I'm your host, Christina Haskin, and tonight I have John Barricelli, who's the chef and owner of Sono Baking Company.for in South Norwalk. He's also just become an author and has a new book out, Sono Baking Company Cookbook. Barricelli is a third-generation baker who began his cooking career more than 25 years ago at the prestigious Culinary Institute of America at Hyde Park, New York. He has worked in New York City restaurants such as the River Cafe and the Four Seasons restaurant, and has been a business restaurant owner for 20 years. He's the host of Everyday Baking for Everyday Food and the co-host of Everyday Food on PBS. John is also a frequent contributor to the award-winning Martha Stewart Show. John is currently the owner of Sono Baking Company and Cafe in South Norwalk, and he's, as I said before, the author of this wonderful new book. So welcome.
Thank you.
And had you on the show back when you just were starting Sono Baking Cafe.
About 5 years ago already.
Yeah, and it's really become quite a success. And tell me a little bit what's happened with the cafe and how that's...
Well, we're increasing our, I guess you would say, our client base by doing a lot of wholesale. So now we're into a lot of restaurants and some retail shops and coffee shops. So we're working very well with some of our partners in the sense that they're advertising us in their stores. So people are proud to have us as their marquee baked goods. So it works out that we're getting our name out just by being in other locations. And then we're also doing more farmers markets. So we're in New Haven 3 days a week. We're in Westport 1 day a week. So we're really...
so it's not just the cafe, it's your
exactly.
Your
we're going out and getting our dollar. We're not just sitting back and waiting for people to come down to South Norwalk. So.
And what kind of stuff do you have in your store? I mean, it's really a wonderful, nice cafe, but
well, everything is pretty much based around our breads. So panini, and we do a lot of croissant sandwiches and everything on our whole grain breads, and everything's all natural. We're very high end. We like to keep our standards up. Everything's made fresh every day. We go to the shelter every morning and give the leftovers, so we don't resell anything.
Yeah.
On the bread and breakfast pastry line, cakes we can get 2 to 3 days out of. So we're community based. We feel like we give back to the community, and it's a nice feeling.
Now you had experience in New York restaurants, but also you worked with Martha Stewart. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with her and how that
It started
evolved.
back in '98, so it's 12 years now that I've been with her. Still do the TV show with her. She's the executive producer. It's a great relationship. I mean, she respects the talent that we have at the bakery. She knows how hard we work. She says we're one of her best, allies in the baking world. So we always look forward to going on the show.
But you started first with the Everyday Food General. You were one of the general co-host chefs, which you still are.
When I first started with Martha,
Okay.
I was just a commissary chef. In other words, I cooked for the crew, the TV crew. So
oh, really? Yeah.
It was about 100 people at the time. And from there, I went down to the city and I worked on books and magazines and got to see photo shoots, which gave me a little bit of background on how books were made.
Right.
I worked on Martha's hors d'oeuvre handbook, and then I worked on her baking book. And then I got to see a few other books, non-food, and that really gave me a springboard or the ambition to really go out and want to do my own book. But I have to credit Martha for showing me the media side of the food business. There's so many different areas in the food business. People say, those vending machines you see at airports, and there's just so many different avenues in the food business.
Yeah, now I think, the chef thing is to do the book, the TV show, and have your restaurant and your products, and that's the ultimate, which you seem to be ballooning into. So that's because I remember when we talked the last time, you were rehearsing to be a host,
Right, it was just starting out.
Food, right.
And now we're in our 6th season, so I enjoy TV. It's not something that I went and looked for, but it fell my way, and I think it helps with the business. I think it promotes the business, even though we don't ever mention Sono Baking people recognize my face all the
Right.
time when I'm at the farmers markets. They're like, "Hey, you're that guy from?" I said, "Yes, this is my bakery. This is what I really do." You know, so
And then you got the spin-off show of doing just the baking show.
right.
So
Because
you're alone in that. and
everyday
you,
food, the recipes are all very basic. You know, very accessible ingredients, and everyday baking takes that one step further in the sense that, you know, we really do gear down to just baking. And, you know, we did a muffin show and a cookie show, and then we did a French cookie show, and then we did, you
Wow.
know, a cake and gâteau and little tart show. So, you know, we came up with 13 different shows, and it worked very well. We're looking forward to doing another season.
Well, it is. I mean, it's a very kind of special area because I'm not that much a baker myself, but I know that all the techniques are kind of unique to baked foods.
Yep. What's good about the book that we did is, again, taking a page out of Martha, or from Martha. I kind of give tips for every recipe, so you kind of have a feeling of how a professional does it. So, you know, something that you might not think of, you know, simple things like, you know, making sure your oven's level. You know, people don't even think about that. It's hard to make a cake straight when your oven's not level.
Right.
So, you know, when we go through the book and through recipes and in the beginning of each chapter, we always give you little inserts of what to look for, and, you know, fruit, how to tell when fruit's ripe, and such.
Well, it's a beautiful book. I mean, it's just I love the cover, and it's Clarkson Potter is a great publisher.
They really are. They did a great job.
So, and you have, who is the photographer? It's just
It's
gorgeous.
Ben Fink. Ben Fink came highly recommended from Clarkson Potter.
Gorgeous photographs.
That's a great photo, and that was
Yeah.
the first photo we shot for the book. And after seeing that photo, I was so motivated that we actually ended up with 45 more photos than we were contracted for. So Ben did a great job. He didn't mind shooting anything in front of the lens, and we kept feeding him
This is
stuff.
nice.
Yeah, that's a great plum crisp. You know, and we're
Well,
coming
yeah.
into season now, so all these
Yeah.
fruits will be readily available.
I think, I mean, for me, you know, I'm a visual person, so cooking, if a cookbook has great photos, I want to make it, you know,
Right.
and I think
I agree.
it's really, I think Martha was one of the people that really pushed in, you know, cookbooks used to have the little illustrations and
Yep.
mostly text, and
Right.
it's really become the norm now, and it's a beautiful book.
Thank you.
And you know, you were saying that you watched Martha do her books. How did you, as far as the writing and what was your experience as an author as opposed to a chef?
Well, again, it was kind of like TV. When somebody walked into the bakery and said, "Are you interested in doing a book?" And I said, "Yes. You know, I'd love to entertain the idea. You know, how do you go about it?" And, you know, putting together a proposal and, you know, basically your table of contents and, you know, on and on and on. And we came back with 4 bids right away. 4 people bid on the book, and we didn't go with the highest bid, but we did go with Clarkson Potter because of the Martha connection.
Yeah.
I felt comfortable with
So
them.
they're very quality, everything.
Yes, and
Yeah.
they knew who I was, which was very important. Not just from TV, but they knew that I worked on Martha's books, and they knew that I was highly regarded in that kind of sense, and that I took care of Martha's recipes and stuff. So there are some recipes in here that I lent to Martha and I borrowed back. It's a nice way of saying it. But
And she gives an introduction, correct?
and she did my forward. Yes,
Yeah.
she has
So
some
she
nice
was very
kind words.
supportive of.
She is.
Yeah.
She's been a great ally in this 12 years. I couldn't ask anything more from her.